Last week, I kicked off, I like that we just called it a collection now, but yeah, I guess it kind of is, because I kind of committed myself to teaching for a few weeks here in staff. And we're coming up on team conference, which was what Kat is talking about. These are the things I think that are meaningful. These are the moments that actually build our church. The reason why she's up here and what Jam's up here is because these are like the intangible. This is about not swelling, but growing. You want to know how we're going to grow a church? Bro, let's get people committed to prayer. You want to know how you're going to grow a church? Let's get people committed to serving a city. I like big events. I like anniversary parties. It's not hard. I had people come last night to the after party that didn't go to church. I mean, because that's how easy it is to get someone to the party. We know how to throw a party, but can we get people into their prayer closet? Can we get people serving? And so team conference is one of these days that the more we can get them in front of us, the more there's going to be an opportunity that they're going to catch something. How many of you know, like I love sharing a video and I love sharing content, but man, if I can get somebody in that room, I always just believe, man, there's a better chance of them experiencing the presence of God. A bunch of us were just at the Belonging Conference, and man, I walked away with so much, but the biggest thing I walked away with from their movement is the presence of God. I really can't even tell you what they were preaching. I really can't even tell you what the content or the information that I heard. What I can tell you is that we spent countless hours in the presence of God, and my life is better for it. And so what we're trying to do constantly is try to get people involved in these moments. And so team conference, which is coming up, the theme of our conference is what I talked to us about at staff retreat, which is a vision for here. Yes. A vision for here. And I actually believe that this is so fitting for you guys even back in Tulsa, that this is language that you guys need, that we need a vision for right where we are. And it's almost sort of like a juxtaposition, right? It's almost a paradox, because vision's all about, going somewhere, and then here is so stationary. But that's what we're talking about getting people a vision for here. At team conference, I want people to walk away from that day going, man, I'm called right here. I'm putting both my feet down right here. I'm in this thing, leaning in, putting roots down. And I love this little verse that Jesus says, Matthew chapter 16, verse 24, if we can bring it up on the screen. Then Jesus said to his disciples, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and, what's the word? Follow. What's the word? Follow. Follow me, follow me. You guys were preaching good yesterday on Sunday. Let's keep it up today in staff. Follow me. Jesus doesn't call us to be leaders. He calls us to be followers. Right. And if you actually want to know how to be a good leader, you have to check how you're following. No doubt it's about following Jesus, but man, I actually believe earthly and in church life, it's about following others as well. Like my life has been marked. I've seen my leadership grow by who I get under, by who I submit my life to, who I'm accountable to. Everyone wants to be a leader, but very few want to be followers. And the seeds you sow as a follower will always be the harvest you reap as a leader. And some of us, we can go down and we can start going down memory lane, and I can think about, I think I saw your post, Oliver, this past week, which I love everyone posting this past week and telling their stories. And Oliver started in our parking lot team, which is just such a cool story, right? Because here he began in the parking lot team, and today he's in one of the largest roles of leadership in our church. But how did he get there? He didn't get there by walking the parking team going, I'm large and in charge. He just got on the team and was serving and was following. Before you know it, everyone's like, yo, this guy's pretty committed to being here. And he just keeps getting promoted through the ranks. I thought it was cool how Manushka, I think you put up a post the other day that, her first Sunday was in VOUS Kids. A lot of people would see Manushka today and they would never, ever think that, man, you'd be a good fit. And that's where, they would say, that's a waste of your time. That's a waste of your energy. She didn't see it that way. Her and Adrian told a story that literally I was like, Mona, you should check out Adrian. He'd be good in the growth track, Adrian just started in the growth track. Let me just lead. He was never like, yo, the growth track, this is too small for me. I'm called to bigger and better things. He just had a vision for right here in the growth track. And later we see him in a role that he's an executive pastor of one of the fastest growing churches in America. But he had a vision for here. And so it's not a means to an end. It's actually, the end in and of itself. You actually have to change your mindset. Because some of us are like, oh, these are stepping stones. I'm telling you what, that's called the wrong motivation. God will sift right through that thing. People will sift right through that thing. You know people when they're on your team or around you. I think you're here, but you're not really here. This is just a means to your end. God is looking for people that would say, I'm right here, I'm in it, I've denied myself, I just want to follow you. And it just so happens it's that heart and that mindset that God continues to promote, saying, I can trust you. I can trust you. It's a paradox. The whole thing is a paradox. And so what we've been challenging in this little idea of talks and what we're going to challenge with Team Conference is that when you actually commit first to following before leading, what happens is that when you surrender to the follow, you release your worry of the future. There's a lot of us that are focused on there. And I'm not against about trying to get where you're going to, but I just want to show you the pathway. Jesus never, ever denounces the desire for you to be great. He just redirects the path of how to get there. They go, Jesus, who's the greatest among us? He doesn't say, what a stupid question, you arrogant people. He says, if you want to be great, you have to serve. And so for all of us, I think at this stage in our life and in this season, in this hour of our church, if we can surrender to the follow, it releases our worry of the future. And let me tell you what's attractive is when you get around people that are content, when you get around people that are secure, when you get around people that are happy with where they are. Great. I'm not happy with everything that's happening in my life. There's some things I wish I could change. There's some breakthroughs I want to see happen. But man, I feel like I'm in the right place at the right hour. I feel like God's put the right people around us. Does anyone sense that at our church recently? Does anyone just sense, man, that God's got us in the right place with the right people at the right hour? I didn't even know that number of growth track. I mean, we're coming up, man. I feel like there's some momentum there. These are things that we've been praying about and talking about. This is a big deal, man. This is something to celebrate, man. 140 people decided to stay after to go into the weird room that feels like an airport and eat pizza and actually say, like, I want to take the next step. God's moving. And for us, as we lead, we need a vision for here. And so here is the acronym. Last week we talked about practicing hospitality. Today I'm going to talk to you about Evangelize always. Next week I want to talk to you about living a life above reproach. That's the R. And then the last week, before we get to Team Conference, I want to talk to you about expecting the unexpected, which is the E. And so last week we talked about this concept of practicing hospitality, that when you start to live a life not as a guest but as a host, what you're doing is subconsciously you are putting roots down and you are establishing a framework for here. That before you know it, I'm not the guest, I'm the host. Some of you, this is like your first year in Miami, and so you kind of always feel like a tourist everywhere you go. But you have to change your mindset. Maybe you're only going to be here for 1 year. You're not the guest, you're the host. Some of us that have been serving in this church for a while, it's like, you are a host everywhere that you go. I don't care, even when the world invites you into their spaces, you take on the mindset of being a host. We were just at the Belonging Conference with all sorts of different people. And I looked at Dakota and I was talking to him. I was saying, hey, when you're at events like this, you don't behave like a guest, you behave like a host. You add value to the space. You're not trying to come and be successful here, you're trying to come and be significant here. What's the difference? Success is about adding value to you. Significance is about adding value to others. You are the host. I know, but they invited me here. I know you are going in and you look like a guest, but you have the mindset of a host. You're practicing hospitality. We talked about it last week, but today, as we start to go, all right, I'm getting a vision for here. I'm a host. I'm a host in Miami. I'm a host in the city. I'm a host at SoMe. I'm a host online, Chip. Wherever we're hosting, we're hosting. Today, this word is evangelize always. Because if we're going to build here, we need people that are evangelists. Evangelism is one of the fivefold parts of the ministry. He's called some to be pastors, teachers, prophets, pastors. What did I skip there? Evangelists, and help me out, Chip. Apostles, there she is, the bishop, thank you. Jam, thank God for you, my goodness. There's some things I wanted to say, but I'm going to spare it. We had some chatting to do. I heard you had a great trip. Anyways. What? I didn't say nothing. I said that. I didn't say anything at all. No, I was kidding. She stop.
I knew it was coming.
Stop. I love you. You kidding me? But we got to talk. Kidding. Evangelism. And last week we looked at the story of Zacchaeus. And I don't want to belabor things that we already shared last week. You took good notes. You know what the story. But Jesus sees Zacchaeus up in this tree. In the Greek, it's still up for debate who the short man was. We're not quite sure if it's Jesus or Zacchaeus. Fun Bible information. But he sees Jesus, he sees Zacchaeus, and he calls him out by name. Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house today. He goes to Zacchaeus' house. Remember, everyone there, not just the religious people, but everyone, they begin to mutter, he's gone to be the guest of a sinner. Always a fun question, too. When was the last time you were the guest of a sinner? Yeah. Always a fun question for our staff. Do sinners even like us? Great. I don't know if that's a mission for everybody at every church. It's a mission for us. Yeah. Amen. Okay, like I want us to be salt and light. I want your friends that don't believe what we believe to go, you know what? I think y'all are crazy, but I still like being around those people. That's why I had some friends last night at the party that don't go to church, because it's like, I just think, I don't know, maybe rubbing shoulders with you and seeing how you behave at a bar, they might go, oh, this is how I should behave at a bar. Oh, this is how we dance when the DJ plays music. This is how we celebrate and have fun. We don't have to actually be, you get where I'm going. Discipleship is more caught than taught. And so Jesus goes to be the guest of the sinner, but everyone's upset because we know that Zacchaeus, we don't have anything really in society to really understand him, but he is deplorable. He is so immoral on all fronts that like nobody likes him, but yet Jesus is not afraid to be associated with him. He's hanging out with him, and it's crazy. He's the guest of a sinner. As he gets there, we don't hear Jesus' sermon as we talked about. We just get his presence. God's presence changes people. It's actually about us being with people, the light on the inside of us. Zacchaeus gets up. He has this response. He's radically generous. I'm going to pay back people that I stole from 4 times the amount. That's like absurd generosity. I'm going to give 50. We're not talking about tithing. We're talking about 50% of my wealth. I'm getting rid of it. Like that's his response. And then Jesus says this. Jesus says, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save that which is lost. This is Luke chapter 19, verse 10. This is last week's story. In Luke's gospel, Jesus 2 times refers to himself as the Son of Man. The Son of Man is a reference to prophetic language that Jesus is the Messiah. When Jesus says this, he's announcing who he is, that I'm not just a man and I'm not just a rabbi, I am God in the flesh. Yeah. When he calls himself the Son of Man, that's what he's saying. Yeah. But right here in this moment, at Zacchaeus' house, he says, the Son of Man came to seek and to save that which is lost. What is he announcing? He's announcing his mission. Everyone say mission. Mission. This is the mission of Jesus. He came to seek and to save that which is lost. Great. He didn't come for healthy people, he came for sick people. Newsflash, we are all sick. Yeah. Some of us just don't know it. Yeah. So if we're not careful, we will even turn that verse into like us against them. No. We are all the them. Yeah. If you're not the them, you used to be the them, okay? So we are all sick. He came for all people because all people have fallen short of the glory of God. But Jesus is giving you his mission. I love this, seek them out. I don't want to just be a church that just posts up on Sundays and says, come to us. This is where the church misses it. The church says, come and find. No, we need to go and find them. Like, we need to go out and be in the places and seek them out. There's a seeking that takes place. Jesus, he teaches us about this seeking. Luke chapter 15, he tells 3 different stories, and every one of these stories is about the mission of the Messiah. Yeah. He talks about lost sheep, he talks about lost coins, he talks about 2 lost sons. The story of the lost coin is beautiful, right? Because this woman's got 10 coins, but she loses 1 coin. I like the analogy of money because every one of you in here will resonate better with money than you will with sheep. Yeah. Because you don't have sheep in your life and you don't think much about sheep. But if you lose some money, what is this? What's that withdrawal? Like you'll spend hours trying to figure out if you're married. Who made this? Who purchased this? Because we value money. How many know she turns the whole house upside down because she's missing 1 coin? Why? Because although the coin is lost, it has not lost its value. That's right. Really good. So we're like, why would we go looking for lost people? Because just because they're lost doesn't mean they've lost their value. People are valuable. Souls are valuable. And if we're going to be a church, it's not going to be just, come and see. It's going to be about us. No, we're going to go and find. Really good. That we actually have to have this as a mission, to seek and then to save the lost. Good. I think a lot of us, if we're not careful, we will only preach one part of Jesus' mission, which is he came to save the lost. That's beautiful, he did. but he also came to seek them out. Meaning like he came to find Zacchaeus up in that tree. And I just want us to be a church that thinks this way. I want you to live your life personally this way. Like if you're not careful, like, man, I love our vibrant community. And like last night, I'm like, this is so cool, bro. Last night it was just leaders that were invited. It was like 300 plus just leaders at a party. I was like, this is like a mad cool experience. These are like super cool people. And it's so easy that we begin to rest in the blessing of God. But God has not blessed you that you would build a wall around you. God has not blessed you that you'd put a shield up to prevent that which is outside of it. No, he's blessed you to encourage you to continue to step outside of your comfort zone. If you live in your comfort zone, you will never evangelize.
Great. That's so good.
There's people in this room that got saved under our ministry, and it's really easy for me, to look at Jamila, whose life was changed through a thing we used to do called the rendezvous, and be like, oh man, there's the fruit of our labor, and just be like, well, now we're good, and now Jamila will do it. Now I need Jamila to go and do that which was done for her, but I can't stop doing what I used to do.
That's good.
And I don't want to live on yesterday's miracles. I don't want to live on yesterday's converts. I want to have a mentality like Jesus, that I'm going to have a mission to seek and to save.
Yes.
I wonder if you're thinking that way. Like I wonder if today maybe like you're obsessed with over there and going to that other place. I know it's certainly true at Transformation, but it's definitely true at VOUS. People will come here and they will think that it's going to be better here. I'm sure there's people that are moving to Tulsa. Oh yeah, if I get to Transformation, then it will all be good. But people that are really at Transformation will be like, it's good. But the only reason why it's good is because we have to keep watering that grass. Like it's not better over there. It's better where you are, but I wonder if you would get a spirit of evangelism, maybe you're missing a mission in your life. Maybe the reason why you're not finding purpose in work anymore is because all you see is base camp to-dos. Maybe the reason why you're not having much purpose in your life right now is because all you feel like is people micromanaging you and just telling you what you have to do next and what you have to do next. And maybe this Monday feels like last Monday, and it's like, but maybe it's because you've lost your mission.
Right.
And maybe you're looking for like God's will and you're looking for peace, but it's because you've lost your mission. Let me give you a mission. You don't have to go and seek God forever and say, what's my mission? Just jump on board with his. Just follow him. You don't have to lead a mission to Mars. You get to jump on board with his mission. And if you'll just follow him and you'll surrender to the follow, guess what? It will relieve you of the pressure and the worry of the future.
Very good.
You don't need to go find your mission, just join his.
Very good.
So Jesus says, the Son of Man came to seek and to save that which was lost. There's 2 times in Luke's gospel. I just find this really interesting. I think it's helpful for the Bible nerds. 2 times he's announcing that he is the Messiah in a prophetic fulfillment of referencing the Old Testament. The second time he does it is in Luke chapter 7, verse 33. Luke chapter 7 is a chapter that I hold dear to my heart because I wrote an entire book off of Luke chapter 7. 4 stories in Luke 7, a book called Sandcastle Kings. And the third story is the story of John the Baptist. And it's a beautiful text that I will spare you the details. But John the Baptist is in prison. He's awaiting execution. We could have used him yesterday as an example for someone regarding the idea that prayers never die, because John the Baptist is now scared because he's like, yo, I did everything right. I just want to speak to some of the people on our staff. John the Baptist did everything right. He actually did what Jesus wanted him to do, and he was executed.
Wow.
So I'm all about crazy faith. I'm all about believing God for big things, but you have to know that sometimes crazy faith will lead you to your execution.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And I don't want that. Like, I'm not like, that's not what we're gonna rally around. We're ready to be persecuted. That's not what we're rallying around. But if it's not said, we will build a group of immature believers that soon as suffering hits your life, you will be convinced that God has left you. But here's John the Baptist in a prison cell, and he is freaking out. And he sends his disciples. Like Jesus got his disciples, and now his ministry was blowing up, and now his ministry is kind of dying down because he's in prison. And he's got a few disciples left around him, and now Jesus is the new guy on the block. And everyone's like, yeah, Jesus. We go to the Jesus church. We go to the Jesus church. We go to the Jesus church. And John's like, yo, I did what you asked me to do. I prepared the way. And if you don't come and save me, I'm going to die. And so he has a doubt, because this is what happens to even like really great men of God, even guys like John the Baptist. When stuff gets scary and when things don't go your way, we start to doubt. And so he sends his disciples, go ask Jesus, is he the one? Like, did I get it wrong? And Jesus sends back this like really like harsh sort of answer. He like quotes the prophet Isaiah. And he's like, yeah, let John know. The lame walk, the deaf hear, the blind see. The good news is proclaimed. And then his last closing line, he says, blessed are those who do not fall away because they're offended with me. And it was a code answer to John going, hey, John, I see you. The answer is yes, I am the Messiah. And the answer is, John, you're gonna die in that prison cell, but you will be blessed if you don't deny me now. Like, how's that for an answer to prayer?
Wow.
Yeah, actually, I see you. Yep, I totally see you. And all that pain you're going through, yeah, I see it, but I'm telling you what, I actually am gonna use it, and you'll be blessed if you don't give up now. That's his answer. So his disciples leave, and as soon as his disciples leave, Jesus starts bragging on John. I preached that many times. John never got to hear the bragging of Jesus, which is so interesting. There's things I think that God can be saying behind our back. There's things that he can be gossiping about us, that he believes in you. But listen, this is the second time now that Jesus says this phrase, the Son of Man, and it's Luke chapter 7. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and you say he has a demon. But the Son of Man, this is the second announcement, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by all her children. The second time that Jesus uses this phrase, the Son of Man, the first time he says it is to give his mission that he came to seek and to save. The second time he says it is to give his method.
Wow.
And what is his method? Well, everywhere Jesus went, he was criticized for eating and drinking. And I want to be careful of heresy for a moment, but apparently Jesus went to a lot of parties. Apparently he had been at a lot of places, enough so that people could say, yo, this man is always out eating and drinking with people. And Jesus says, yo, John the Baptist did none of those things. And you said he had a demon. Now I'm out with these people that you don't like because that's my mission. And you say that I'm a drunkard and a glutton. But wisdom is proved right by all of her children. What's he saying? He's saying, we'll see. Because actually, if you want to know something, if you want to know the root of something, you just check the fruit.
Yeah.
And so what he's saying is let's just see the fruit of my life. Let's see what happens after I am gone. Let's check the legacy of VOUS Church. VOUS Church has done some cool stuff in 6 years. But really, the jury is still out on whether or not we got the juice or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
The jury is still out if we actually really are building disciples, because you don't know if you got disciples in 6 years.
Right.
Great.
You don't know. Wisdom is proved right by her children.
Right. Good.
So we got like a 6-year-old child somewhere around here, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But notice what Jesus was being condemned of. He was being condemned of eating and drinking. Eating and drinking, if you can hear me today, is the method in which Jesus fulfilled his mission.
Wow.
Right. Right.
One scholar said, how did Jesus usher in the kingdom of God? One meal at a time.
Yeah. Great. Very good.
And this echoes what we were talking about last week when it comes to hospitality.
Yeah.
Why are we playing the host? Why am I challenging us to go and break bread with people?
Yeah.
Because it's actually the method in which you will evangelize. It's actually the method in which you will share the gospel. It's actually the method in which you can testify about God's goodness and grace in your life.
Very good.
I firmly believe this, that when you look at the life of Jesus, I don't know, I study it, and it seems like Jesus, he always knew his audience. And we as a church, I want us to be sensitive to the people that we are trying to reach, that we are trying to evangelize, that we are trying to get a message out there, that we are trying to convert people to the gospel, to the good news. And I'm just telling you, man, there's different types of crowds. It seems to me, if you're inside of like some conservative, evangelical, fundamental kind of like group of people that have a background of faith, you know what I say? Grab a microphone, stand up there, preach the gospel black and white, hoop, holler, dance around, do a Jericho march, find the shofar, I don't know, have some church, go for it. But if you are dealing with somebody who is on the fringe of faith, who's been hurt by the church, who has doubts, who has questions about their identity, who don't know who they are, who are wondering, do they even belong? Have the sensitivity to sit down across the table, break some bread, drink a glass of wine, and listen. It seems like Jesus did both, is what I'm trying to say. It seems like Jesus had this method that I preach to crowds, but then I minister to people at the table. And I just want us to see that as we evangelize always, everyone say always. Always. That every part of my life that I'm going to use it as a platform to evangelize. When I do, I'm actually following him. That I'm jumping on board. I'm not looking for a mission. I just adopted his. I like all the analogies to startups and all that stuff, and it's cool. I love it. But someone said to me the same thing last night. I just want to be clear. It's like, this girl came up to me last night. I think I was sitting with Dakota, and she's like, hey, I just want to say I've always wanted to meet you. No idea how she got to the party, by the way. I'm like, we don't know each other? Okay, cool. This is a scary party. I don't know. I didn't invite you, but great. Someone did. You're great. She was like, I just always wanted to meet you. And, I studied startups, and I've studied founders, and, you could be a founder of a company. And she went, it was a beautiful compliment. I'm actually very, very grateful for the compliment. But I just want to make sure that all of us in here do not adopt that mentality. Because this is not a company. And this is sure as heck not a startup company. If we wanted to do that, we should go and do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to create a new mission. I'm not trying to create something new. I'm trying to follow Jesus the best way I know how in 2021. Just if you're wondering what we're trying to do, it's like, I'm not trying to do something new. I'm really not. I'm really not. We're just in today's 2021 package of clothing, and I just think, I feel like if Jesus was here, he'd bleach his hair too. It's not like I'm trying to do something new. I don't want you to try to do something new. I don't want you to get obsessed with some new thing. We're not into something new. You don't have to go, I'm just still wondering what the mission of my life is. I don't know if you've met Jesus. I don't know if you're on the path of discipleship. I don't know if you're finding contentment with where you are. Here. I have a peace about being here. So I got his mission. And methods come and go, but the method of Jesus was like, if I got a crowd of a bunch of religious people, give me the microphone, let me just tell you what it is. You brood of vipers. But if I'm sitting with somebody outside of Israel, and she comes in as a Gentile, and she's a woman, and she's hurting, join us at the table.
Beautiful.
Let's talk. Have some food.
Great.
It's amazing. One scholar said Jesus was killed because of who he was always eating with.
Yeah.
And I just think if we're not careful, we will stop doing what our forefathers have all done, which they were all evangelists. I'll put it down this way. Evangelism prevents extinction.
Great.
Yeah, evangelism prevents extinction. How do we see the church move forward on our watch? That we're evangelists. We're evangelists. We're evangelists. We're right here. And I do it by practicing hospitality. I'm a host everywhere that I go. So I practice, I've got a vision for here, practicing hospitality, and I evangelize always.
Very good.
And last week I talked just at the end about, thinking big but acting small. I talked to you about If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Because I'm wanting to take some of these concepts that are very, very theological and very, very biblical, but I want to make sure that you understand that you already have all the things you need to fulfill these things. And sometimes I just have to help unlock your brain that there are things taking place, that it's all about how you choose to interpret it and how you process it. You can look at this week and say, wow, this is very, very easy. VOUS Church, yeah, you know what they're about? They're about events. They just tire people out. It's an event culture. All it is about events. It's not really about people. It's about crowds and numbers and crazy faith. I'm coming at Mike. He's not even here, you know? But no, it's actually the opposite. These are just systems that are in place to do the things we're talking about doing. Tomorrow night is an evangelism tactic. It's not about selling a book. The book was written in order to evangelize and tell a story to a generation that would actually believe God for more. The package of how it all gets there is all about a different method about reaching people. These things are already happening. And so last week I was just trying to tell you, like, you don't have to you don't have to go home last week and be like, okay, we have to practice hospitality. All right, we have to do 4 nights a week at our house, dinner. Okay, get the right No. We already do cruise. How about making a commitment that your crew's not gonna suck anymore? I don't know, are we not allowed to talk that way here? I'm gonna say it at team conference. Some of you guys, your crew sucks. You can't get more than 10 people 7 times in a year or 7 times in a season. Okay, you wanna know what a leader is? I wanna be a leader. Cool. Teach it. You know all this stuff. Here's how you know if you're a leader. Look behind you. Is there anybody freaking following you?
Great.
I don't care all the stuff you know. Turn around. Anybody behind you? Okay, well, if there's no one behind you, I'm glad you have a title. You're not a leader, okay? Quit. Your crew doesn't need to suck anymore, you know? Oh, people don't really like crew. No, I don't think you like crew. My crew's been fire from the day, every crew I've ever been in was fire. But I actually go into it going, this is awesome. I don't always feel like it's awesome. Trust me, Monday, I'm tired. My body's broken today. If I told you my last week, I don't feel like even being up here. But I already made a commitment a long time ago. I'm here, you know? So if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be here, you know? But then you actually have to measure stuff, right? This was all last week. I'm sorry I'm going into last week's content. This is what happens to me. But I wanna break in your mind that you already know this stuff. And so just 3 thoughts. These are quick, I promise they're not individual points. Number 1, model it. This is talking about evangelism. Model it. Model it. You have to walk out of here and do something. I want your notepad to be full, but you have to apply this stuff. You have to apply this stuff. Model it. Start inviting people. Don't go anywhere in the city. Say this out loud when you walk out of here. Look at someone on your team. Look at your wife. Say, all right, cool. Anytime we're at a restaurant, here's the game. We have to walk out inviting somebody. I think we lost our muscle of inviting, right? During the pandemic. It's check out the Zoom. It was weird. I get it. I agree. I love church online, but it's different, right? But you have to open up your mouth. Invite people. Invite people. Some of you right now, dude, I still do this, but I did this a lot in the early days. Get a list of 10 people that you want to see in church. Text them every Saturday. Why did we do the 6-year anniversary? Yes, we want to celebrate the past. Yes. But you know what I learned? The reason why I like to do it? I love inviting people that I want to come to church. Hey man, our church is having a birthday, bro. And to me, it's a covert strategic operation was yesterday, Sunday, that much different from the previous Sunday? Honestly, we sang songs. Someone preached the word.
It's great.
And if we went back to last Sunday, I listened to Luke Berry's message, by the way. Unbelievable. I listened to Monitor. Last Sunday was epic. This Sunday wasn't better. We just believed it was better because we put all of our weight into it. I'm just saying, these different titles on this Sunday Mike's coming. Oh, cool. Hey, invite somebody. Don't keep that to yourself. Get a text message. Some of you, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. The reason why church is not as fun as it used to be is because you don't have any skin in the game.
Wow.
You're playing a part. You're just playing a part. You're just doing a task. I forced myself. I was angry yesterday. None of y'all knew this. Hopefully no one of y'all knew this. I was angry yesterday. I had 4 different people that I was I put the full works on them. I'm hey man, this is a really meaningful moment to me, and I've been giving my life. I used all these supercharged where I've been giving my life to this, and I wanted them to come to church. One guy, he came to church about 4 weeks ago. It was his very first time ever in church. That's not true. His first time in church, he went to the Silver Spot. Wow. That was his only church experience, the Silver Spot movie theater. He's like, I love this. I'm like, it gets better. And the second time he came to Somi and he had texted me the night before. He's like, hey man, where do we get our tickets? I was like, no, bro, you don't need a ticket, man. It's free. That's how unchurched he is. And so like I was so wanting him to come. And I thought he didn't come. And I was disappointed. We had, I think, our largest attendance we've had since the pandemic. It was an awesome day, but I was disappointed about the one guy the one lost coin that God has commissioned me to go and get. It is so much more fun. I promise you, worship team, I'm looking at all the guys in worship team, you will care even that much more about a worship set when you start having friends in the front row. All of you who are emceeing and going over your time and just wasting time, you will care that much more about the program when you have a friend on the front row. All of us who are kind of, sleeping during the sermon and going, man, I've heard this guy talk a whole bunch. You bring your friend and you sit next to him in church, you're like, man, I hope Rich sought the Lord. I hope we gave him time this week to actually hear from God. I need this to be good.
It's great.
Some of you, you've lost your vision for here because you don't have skin in the game. I can't do that for you. I have to model this. I model it, you have to teach it.
Good.
Yeah.
You are leaders. You have to teach it.
Yeah.
So this talk right now, at this stage in the game of what we're doing called VOUS, it's cool, but I have hired you, I have invited you here, I am walking with you, that you would go and take this stuff and make sure you're creating space to teach it to somebody. Like you have to get up now wherever your huddle is, whatever your next team leaders meeting is, at your next breakout, at team night, and be like, yo, we're evangelists.
Yeah.
Who are you texting? You have to have your own testimony. You have to find your own illustration of what I just gave you about my friend, and you have to frame that to your life. I'm like, yo, bro, I was at the barber shop. I don't know what your story is, but you need one.
Yeah.
And I need you to teach it. You can't just be like, that was good today, staff meeting. We're past that. This is year 7. Thank you very much, Alex Piloto. This is the year of perfection. Year of 6 was the year of man, so there's nothing good about that, But like, you have to go teach this. Greg, you got to find a space in the broadcast room. You and Diogo afterwards, like, hey, by the way, who'd we invite to church? Who you guys inviting today? Literally, pull your phone out. Let's text someone. Did you hear that message? Guess what? We're doing 5 freaking services. One of the blessings of that is that there's 8 hours until the 7 p.m. service, and so we can get someone here. We can get someone here. This is going to resonate. We got to teach it. Lastly, we got to celebrate it. We got to celebrate it. So these moments here in staff, I want to hear stories about who you invited to church and whose life was impacted. When we're in a huddle, if you're ever in a huddle of any sort, as a staff member here, let me make it really clear. You don't need Adrian to come and find you and give you feedback. You ought to be armed and ready with a freaking story about somebody you invited that week. Hey, we should pull up to any huddle. We got any stories? We got any testimonies? Yes, sir, I do. I got something I want to tell you. You don't have to have the miracle already happen. The miracle can be in process. Share the miracle that's in progress. Talk about it. Celebrate it. When God does something great in someone's life, celebrate it. In your huddle, if someone invited someone to church, make a big deal about it. Why? Because what you celebrate gets repeated. So if we're gonna have a vision for here, we gotta evangelize always, and it's about modeling it, teaching it, and celebrating it. Jesus, the Son of Man, gave his mission, which is to seek and to save. He gave his method, which was eating and drinking. And for you and I think we should follow suit.
So good.
Amen. Amen. Awesome.